Get ready for Pokemon Live at the Fox Theater. Now you can be there as all your favorite characters come to life in this on-stage. The only place to see a brand new Pokemon with a Brock, Misty, Ash,
You're watching Chadtronic.
Boy, oh boy, am I excited to make this video. The sequel to a video I made 5 years ago. That's pretty epic. I just had to have the background lights off because that's what I did in the last video for some reason. Probably to like amplify the mystery factor or something. I was gonna make this video several times over the past few years, but I'm glad I waited because there's been some like really interesting developments that have kept coming forward concerning this topic. The topic being, if you couldn't tell by my lightsaber, Pokemon Live. This video is gonna kind of be a roller coaster. There are some ups and then there's some downs and then there are some ups again. So brace yourself. Also, if you want to get caught up to speed on the full context of every detail in this video, it's probably best you watch my old video, The Mystery of Pokemon Live, before watching this one. My Pokemon Live merch collection consists of this Pokemon Live t-shirt that is unfortunately too small for me to wear. I got this cool keychain unopened until now. Pokemon Live keychain unboxing. It's pretty cool little keychain. And finally, this Pokemon Live lightsaber that's got the Pokemon logo on the handle and various Pokemon on the blade. It's got Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Electrode. And then for whatever reason, it's got a Pokeball on the top of it for some reason.
Big on the merchandise were these. Well, they were sort of basically a version of the Star Wars lightsabers lit up, and they had like a flashlight at the end of them. And there was a number in the show that was done in black light, and the magic of it worked because it's black light. And if you shine a flashlight on it, then suddenly the magic is over because you see the people in black that are moving things. We immediately thought of that number as we're watching thousands of giant flashlights circling the theater. And we went over to one of the Radio City producers and said, this is a problem. These light things. He went, isn't it amazing? You know how many these are selling? Do you know how much money we're making off of every one we sell? And we just looked at each other and went, oh, okay. We just got what this is all about.
So the Pokemon musical was all about making money off flashlights? Is that what you're telling me?
It was on whatever you could. And you got 3-year-olds with a flashlight, so you're...
So did all the kids shine the flashlights and ruin the blacklight thing?
They were shining them through the whole show, yeah.
They'd sell these during the show to like little kids, and then little kids would find a way to unscrew the blade off, and then this would just become like a regular flashlight. And the kids during the dark parts of the show would shine their flashlights on the actors during the show, and the cast would get super mad about this, but they couldn't do anything about it because these were making the show so much money. That's got to be a very weird highlight for some of these performers' careers, starring as a Japanese anime character in some sort of musical while hundreds and hundreds of 3-year-olds wave and beam their flashlights in their eyes. So how this basically all began was 5 years ago. I made a video reviewing an old promotional Pokemon VHS tape. And at the end of the video, I included a segment of me watching an old commercial advertising Pokemon Live. I had no knowledge of Pokemon Live at the time, and just the fact that I found out that a Pokemon musical existed at all, that just suddenly became extremely fascinating to me. But little did I know that that small commercial advertising the show would essentially be the only acceptable footage of the musical that exists, period. I totally assumed there had to have been like a home video release of the show or something. I mean, how could there not be? It was in the heat of the Pokemon craze. The Pokemon TV show was still airing on television. How could there not be an official release of this on home video? How could there not be? After discovering this, I then made the video, The Mystery of Pokemon Live, basically detailing how much of a mystery it was that there wasn't an official video release of the show. Even after uploading the video, some viewers found this clip on another Pokemon promotional video.
I know you are, but what am I? Am not. Sorry. This is technically not the first return from you two. Many of you were lucky enough to catch Pokemon Live during its US tour last year, and were blown away when Mewtwo made a surprise appearance. Oh, don't worry. If you didn't get a chance to see it live, it's coming to TV and home video later this year. And in addition to dozens of Pokemon Live on stage, the musical features all of your favorite TV show characters, including an incredibly handsome Brock. If you didn't get a chance to see it live, it's coming to TV and home video later this year. It's coming to TV and home video later this year.
So that clip is pretty clear evidence that at some point there was at least a plan to release the show on home video. This became no longer some sort of fabled guess that there may have been footage. That clip basically proved that footage does in fact exist, and there was some intention to release it. At the end of my Mystery of Pokemon Live video, I left an email for people to send information if they knew anything more, wanted to assist in the search for the footage. And for the record, I did get quite a few emails over the years, quite a few. And this is basically how I got the rest of the information that'll be laid out in the rest of this video. And this whole thing gets more and more interesting, trust me. Some people like send in their bootleg footage of the show that their parents filmed while taking them to the show when they were younger. None of it was really substantial though. Footage was not great, only caught maybe a few minutes of the show at the time, very shaky stuff. Someone somehow got their hands on an official script and sent that to me. No idea how they got that, but that was pretty neat. Probably the most noteworthy email I got was from Chris Mitchell, which for context was the production stage manager for Pokemon Live, and he was mentioned in the last video about this. Chris got in touch with the executive producer of Pokemon Live, which had this to say. I have great memories of Pokemon Live. It ranks among my favorite projects in my career. I've always regretted not releasing the video of the show. As you recall, an important element of the show was the multimedia factor, and I wanted to experiment with some ideas of how to incorporate the footage of the projection screens with the final cut of the stage show so the TV viewers could hopefully experience what the theater goers did. I had some thoughts on how to do it, and I wanted to handle the edit myself. Unfortunately, I was extremely busy during those years and I was not able to devote the time necessary. On top of that, soon thereafter, the Japanese rights holders formed the Pokemon Company to ultimately control all things Pokemon. Eventually, 4Kids' rights to the property expired and there was no longer a business rationale to complete the video. But where are the tapes? There was a master switch feed of the cameras, as well as a multi-track digital audio master of the original projection screen footage. For years, they were in the tape library at 4Kids Studios. I left in January 2010, and I believe the tapes were still there. 4Kids went bankrupt a few years later, and the assets were sold to Konami and Saban. 4K Media, a subsidiary of Konami, occupies some of the old 4Kids studio space and utilizes it mostly for Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know what happened to the tapes. I hope this was helpful. I wish I could tell you that I have a beautiful cut of the show available on my computer, but sadly, I don't. So in summary, footage was recorded, but never edited. And now, even if it was edited, releasing it could become a complicated collaborative effort between several companies. You've got 4Kids who originally had the footage, who then lost the rights, went bankrupt, had its assets transferred to another company. So essentially, even if the tapes still exist, having Konami work in collaboration with the Pokemon Company to open work again on a 20-year-old project is probably very unlikely to happen, especially since Konami is considered to be a competitor to the Pokemon Company with things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And other similar properties. This is probably where most of the sad news ends and the good news starts to transpire. So although sadly it sounds like an official release is unlikely to ever happen. Some semi-official footage has actually surfaced. I did briefly mention Chris Mitchell's own cammed version of the show in my last video. It can give you an idea of the overall scale of the show, but sadly most of the footage is blown out and recorded quite a far distance from the stage. But had Chris not filmed anything, there would not have been any footage at all of the American version of the show, so God bless that man. After the show finished touring domestic, it did apparently tour in some select international locations, one of the shows being in Dubai, and for whatever reason, footage of it actually exists. The quality is pretty decent too. Probably the most watchable version of Pokemon Live to exist today. The footage was uploaded by the Australian actor who played Ash in the performance. The only disappointing bit is the show isn't the exact same one as the domestic one. The show time was cut down to half the length as the American production, and the production overall seems to have been on a lower budget because a lot of the show's special effects appear to be missing. Even some of the characters such as Professor Oak and Ash's mom were cut from making any sort of appearance at all. But despite that, having this version does at least paint a semi-decent picture of what it would have looked like to have seen the show in person. Another extremely bizarre and kind of scary version of Pokemon Live surfaced this year in 2020. The Spanish version, where for some reason everyone during the show is wearing these extremely creepy disco-looking Halloween masks. The entire show also appears to be dubbed over with Spanish voice acting rather than live speaking actors, just adding to the entire thing's eeriness. The one positive thing about it is that it also seems to be pretty watchable in terms of video quality. But yeah, it's kind of creepy. And now for the grand finale portion of this video. This gets super weird. It was brought to my attention that although we have not found Pokemon Live in terms of official video footage, we have, however, found Pokemon Live itself. As in like the physical show. Like props, puppets, and costumes.
This place is huge. It is a beautiful, beautiful old style theater. That beeping sound you're hearing is the fire alarm. It's just on a constantly beeping. Got some stage lights here. Okay, so we're gonna move along into the main lobby, and this room is gonna blow your mind. Lots of decay and peeling paint, as you can see. And then we'll take a step down here. And then once you get in here, you are greeted by Pokemon. All kinds of Pokemon characters wearing little shoes. You got this guy right here. Then you move along. And you got this guy right here. And then there's this bird here. I have no idea what's going on here, guys. No idea. You got your turtle. Look at this guy. They're so happy. Hey, they're so happy.
The Urban Explorer channel, Freaktography, discovered Pokemon Live just sitting in a random abandoned theater in Canada. Inside this theater appears to be a bunch of Pikachu costumes, several other Pokemon puppets, and entire crates full of unsold Pokemon Live light-up wands and merch. So I've done some additional research on this, and I have nothing but more and more questions about this because the information I have about this does not add up. When Pokemon Live went on tour in the year 2000, they only made one stop in Canada, and it was the 5th location on their tour schedule, and it was in Toronto at the Hummingbird Center, now known today as the Meridian Hall. What's puzzling to me is that the abandoned theater where Pokemon Live was found is not the same location they performed. The Meridian Hall is still an open and active venue. It's not abandoned. I can't disclose the location of this new abandoned theater out of respect for the property owner, but what I can tell you is that it would have never been big enough to host Pokemon Live. The Meridian Hall where Pokemon Live did perform could seat over 3,000 people at the time, while this abandoned theater could have only seated 200 to 300 people. Regardless of that information, why would these props and equipment have been left at the time if they still had many other locations to travel after their stop in Toronto? It's very weird. In terms of lining things up on a timeline, the abandoned theater was open during the time Pokemon Live was touring, so although it would have been unlikely to host a show due to its small size, it was open and operating. One thing that's uncertain is how many props continued forward with being used in the various international versions of the show, since the international shows were the last Pokemon Live shows being performed of any kind, and they were for the most part appeared to use less puppets and props when compared to the American version. It's very possible that the props left in this abandoned theater are the props that were left behind as the show was preparing to go overseas. You can see in the Dubai version that notably missing is Golduck, Goldeen, Alakazam, Pidgeot, and Seadra, all Pokemon which appear in this abandoned theater in Canada. It was probably at this abandoned theater, from what I can deduct, that the American production company passed the baton for the Australian production company to take over the show, and whatever wasn't packed and taken overseas was just left at the theater. The theater at the time before closing was only available for rent, and I think this Pokemon Live handoff may have just been one of the last things that happened at the location right before it closed for good. And what's been sitting there has just been sitting there ever since, like some sort of creepy Pokemon time capsule. It's possible that the rest of the entire show could also be sitting somewhere in Belgium, since that's the last place I can find on record that the show performed. Although it is possible the show could have ended up anywhere after that point. I did actually attempt to get in contact with the property owner to get additional information, but I never did and never have successfully made contact. I have to confess, I'm a little worried about the future concerning the props just sitting in this abandoned theater. There's information that points to the property eventually getting some type of restoration, which is good. I just hope that when the time comes, the props don't just get disposed of by some unknowing construction company or something. My other worry is that less respectful urban explorers finding the location and doing God knows what, sort of like these unnamed explorers who went there recently. Ultimately, I just hope that these things find a final home in some type of art exhibit or museum or something. Maybe someone should let the Pokemon company know that they've had significant company property just sitting in this abandoned theater collecting dust for 20 years. But anyway, that's the video. I guess the adventure to find Pokemon Live took an unexpected turn. And we found it, but not in just the way we expected, I guess. I don't know if I'll make another follow-up video to this unless something really interesting develops with all of this. Hopefully everything leads to some sort of happy ending for Pokemon fans. Oh yeah, and at some point I'm going to watch the Dubai version of Pokemon Live. I'm going to do it on Twitch, so I suggest giving me a follow there on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Chadtronic. I would have done it on YouTube, but it contains a lot of copyrighted music, so yeah, probably can't do that on here. Twitch seems like a better place to watch that. And if you like this deep and nerdy tinfoil hat type of video, I've got plenty more on the channel you can go watch, so please consider subscribing, leave a like on this video, and I will see you guys again in the next 20-year Pokemon conspiracy theory video.